What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourself a great week so far. We are back with another Auburn video because today is spring camp for the Auburn Tigers on the football side of things, and then we're going to actually jump into and talk a little bit about the Auburn basketball side of things because they also play tonight in the NIT. You know what? We'll talk about that one first because that was probably a little bit more quicker to go through, and then football, which is I have a few little things for spring camp. So it's on Sunday night. I've dropped a video talk about Auburn missing the NCAA tournament. Now you can probably make the case that Auburn got screwed, but again, like I mentioned, I think on the video on Sunday, it's Auburn's own fault when it comes down to it. You win the games you're supposed to. You don't lose to Mississippi State. You don't lose to Oklahoma. You don't lose to Ole Miss. And you're probably in the tournament. Now you can also say Auburn got hosed because you had a lot of the people when it came to the selection committee, people talking about the teams and stuff like that. They all were focusing more on Auburn's losses and not their wins. And when it came to SMU getting into the tournament, they were all focused on their wins. Because remember, I believe it was the chairman of the selection committee talked about how who SMU beaten, they thought that was a really solid argument for the Mustangs. So, and I mentioned how you're going to tell me, because I believe at the time their best wins were like Texas A&M, North Carolina, and Louisville. Well, then I mentioned, well, Auburn beat number one seeded Florida, fourth seeded Arkansas. They beat NC State. They beat Queens. They beat Texas, who I believe Texas is actually in the tournament. So like, what are we talking about here? Auburn has really as much quality wins than anybody, and like some of the metrics that they use to determine who gets into the tournament and everything, Auburn was a clear favorite in a lot of those metrics. Strength of schedule was good. Their BPI was good. Like it really, I could see where it comes down to. They just didn't want Auburn in it. So there's a lot of factors into it, but at the end of the day, Auburn had opportunities to not put themselves in that position by winning games like they're supposed to. Now, that being said, at the time, we didn't know if Auburn was going to accept the NIT bid or something like that. But they are. Auburn accepted the NIT bid. They are the number one overall seed in the NIT tournament. They play tonight at 10 p.m. I don't know why it's a 10 p.m. tip off on a weekday. That is ridiculous. But they tip off later tonight. They play South Alabama. I think I shared. Let me see. Where did I put it? Because everybody that's in the Auburn region of things, it's so I can find it real quick. Yeah. So in the Auburn region of things, it's Auburn, South Alabama, Seattle U, St. Thomas, George Mason, Liberty, Nevada, and Murray State. That's in the Auburn regional of things. And I don't remember where the championship is, but Auburn is the overall seed. So I believe when it comes to the NIT, basically, for the most part, everything has to flow through Auburn. So good opportunity where Auburn doesn't really have to leave state unless they go to the championship, which is like I think in Indianapolis or something like that. Now a lot of people I'm fine with it. I'm completely fine with them doing it because it seems like the players took a vote and the players decided they wanted to play, and Stephen Pearl was like, all right, we'll play then. But we're gonna get after it. We're gonna win this whole thing, and good and like this gives opportunity for Stephen to get better at being a coach. Now, one of the questions is, does people actually participate? And I guess primarily what I'm saying is, does Keyshawn Hall even participate in this? Because we've seen how he's been the last several games, not fully engaged and things like that. Does he participate in this tournament? I think that is a fair question to ask, honestly. Um, I don't know. I don't know, but listen, if you don't want to play in a tournament, I'm speaking in general. If you don't want to play in the NIT, then don't play. Like as long as Auburn has enough guys, at least 8 guys to participate, then Auburn's going to play. I think, you know, Keyshawn Murphy's probably going to play. Overton's going to play. Will the Hod play? I don't know. We'll see. Um, Yovi, I think a lot of these guys they want to play, and so this gives you a good opportunity to, like, if you're going to keep some of these guys for next year, kind of go ahead and see what you got at some point. Like Jovic, Sway, Simon Walker could be somebody who comes off the bench for you. Elijah Freeman, like some of these pieces that you're probably going to try to keep for next season and build around. Definitely get them, see what you got. Like I would love to see more Simon Walker potentially throughout this NIT run. If he's a guy that you think you can count on, and I would love to see Jovic again get opportunities to be an offensive player when Auburn's on offense, and not just be a guy just to get the rebounds and stuff like that. So there's opportunities to grow with a lot of these young players, but we'll see. We'll just see how things shape out with the NIT. Auburn takes on South Alabama later tonight, so um, hate that as a late tip off, but whatever. We'll be here. We'll be here to look at it and then discuss it afterwards. Now, on to the football side of things. It is the start of spring camp for the Auburn Tigers, and quite honestly, there's not many questions I have in regards to the football team right now. I mean, we already know who the quarterback is. It's gonna be Byron Brown. Now, if you want to question like who the backups are, who's gonna be the number 2 guy, sure, that'd be an interesting conversation to have and watch throughout spring. The receiving core, you pretty much got an idea of who your guys are gonna be. I mean, they're all gonna be the South Florida guys. I'd be curious to see how Bryce Kane, um, and I think Sam Turner as well. I think Sam Turner came back, or he took his name out of the portal. It's gonna be curious to see on how those guys uh, fit into the offense rotation and everything as well. Offensive line, yeah, that's probably one you do have questions about. Um, like who's all going to be your starters and everything. I think obviously who your center is going to be. Um, but just the other pieces, it's going to be curious to see on how that offensive line shakes out. Tight ends actually is probably one you definitely want to keep an eye out for during spring. You got like 3, 4, 5 guys that are all capable guys to do the things you need them to do in this offense. Because keep in mind with this offense, they're going to try. Auburn's probably not going to substitute as much, so that the tight end has to be a flexible guy. He has to be a guy that you can put on the end of the line to help block. Got a guy who can go out and be a pass catcher when you need him to, things like that. So it's gonna be curious to see on like who that first, second, third guy is when it comes to the tight end room. Running back, probably not a lot of questions about that as well. Um, I would assume Jeremiah Cobb is going to be the starter at running back, but I mean, if you want to try to figure out who the backups are, sure. I don't think you can go wrong with picking somebody as a backup. It's going to be interesting to see on how that shapes out. So, um, defensively, they have a lot of play, like in the secondary in general. They have a lot of guys that they can rotate through. So playing time is going to be interesting to look at there. Linebacker, you got Xavier Atkins, Demarcus Riddick. I think those two are probably going to be your starters. Want to probably look for a third guy to be your third guy to come off the uh, almost off the bench, but like off the sideline and everything. Um, Defensive line and edge. Pass rush could be a question mark. But I think DJ Durkin will probably do a good job in like doing enough to generate some pass rush. Because one of the things about the defense last season, I guess if you want to say the past 2 seasons with DJ Durkin, is they've been relatively good at stopping the run, but they have not been really good at stopping the passing game against them. So, but you do have guys who were defensive coordinators other places or other position coaches. So if they can clean up that, if they can get the corners and the safeties to play a little bit better when it comes to the passing game, then I think that you can have yourself a seriously highly touted defense once again. Because Auburn's defense was relatively good the past 2 seasons, honestly. It's just sometimes the passing game and critically the third down conversions for the opponents, this usually has hurt the Auburn defense and just staying on the field at times. I can't think how many turnovers Auburn got. I feel like Auburn got a good bit of turnovers last season, so I would like to see that continue. Some more interceptions and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember because I felt like they got an interception in almost every single game, with the exception of I think the Baylor game they didn't get a turnover. I think the Vanderbilt game they didn't get a turnover. But I think every other opponent that they've played, they got like at least an interception. I think they were all interceptions, to be quite honest. So yeah, that's something to see there. I'm pretty sure the spring game is not televised, so I actually may go to Auburn for the spring game just to check it out. I haven't been to Auburn in a couple of months anyway, since the Auburn Kentucky game, so I may go in just to go because it's been a while. I need to look into that, but overall, we got a couple of weeks because Auburn's spring camp is the 17th through the 18th. Now, so we got a lot of time to hear about this football team because we're now in spring football season. So, and I think win totals for SEC teams came out the other day too, and Auburn was like slated at 6.5 win total. Obviously, I would because I feel like Alex Golesh wants to win this season, so I would definitely take the over in that regard. I think if he gets 7 wins his first season, I think to me that's improvement because look where Auburn's been from a win total perspective the past several seasons. So I think him getting 7 wins is a solid improvement than what we've seen the past like 4 or 5 years. I guess since 2020 with Gus. But I think he wants to win this season. So I think they're gonna definitely put in the work. And what works out well from an offensive standpoint is the guys you brought in from USF and then obviously some other portal guys and stuff like that. There's still some install for guys who are not familiar with the system, but for the most part, a lot of your guys played in your system, so they know exactly what they're supposed to do. They know exactly where to be on the field. So that's actually that's something I don't think a lot of people are talking about enough is Byron Brown, the offensive, the center, I think Cole Best is his name. The offense, Cole Best, Byron Brown, the receivers, they all have played together for like the past 2 or 3 seasons with Golesh at USF. So they have that idea of what Golesh wants when it comes to the offense and stuff like that. So that means to me, Auburn is able to come out right out the gate and maybe not offensively click, but they don't have to try to like baby step their way in most cases that we've seen was like trying to learn a new offense and stuff like that. A lot of these guys have been in the offense before, so they should know what to do. Now, maybe offensive line, there's some aspects where you got to like teach some other guys and stuff like that. But you got an important piece in the center. You got an important piece at the quarterback position. You got some veteran wide receiver guys who've played together before. So I feel very confident in that aspect. But guys, that is relatively it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see how Auburn plays against South Alabama later tonight. And then if any other kind of football news that comes up during the first day of spring camp, we'll talk about it. But guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Other than that, I will see you all in the next video. Y'all have a good one.